Hello, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 23rd of January, 2024, and I wasn't going to do a video. Again, I've been in and out of the hospitals in the Montreal area, and I got back home again late last night, and it's just, it is what it is. Just, I'm hoping that family members pull out of things that they're going through right now. Anyway, and, but obviously when I got home, I was following up on like a bunch of different messages that I've missed. And I was looking at, I was listening to videos on YouTube on my way home, just as a distraction, because there was also a bit of a freaking snowstorm on my way. But I really enjoy a lot of Old World Florida's content. There are just things that are misrepresented. And I don't know if he knows this or not, but like, I feel like he's controlled opposition, just like so many other people that just are not aware of it. And I think because of ego, again, I don't know him personally, or just being a social justice warrior, like I don't think he's ever going to admit that he's wrong with his fruitarian push. And the thing that frustrates me is I'm very polite when I have conversations, or I think I do. I'm very direct, but again, I was an infantry officer for 15 plus years, and executive protection, close protection afterwards, the training coordinator for hostile environment awareness training and standing rapid deployment team courses for the higher levels of government, advanced firearm instruction to multiple levels of the higher government entities and groups, and driving, you name it. And so like I can be a little bit intimidating to guys like that who are, that are maybe not necessarily as masculine as they could be. And I think it's because of things like fruitarianism, right? And like the examples of the Bible also like upset me, because I also am someone that has multiple different Bibles in my library that I'm looking at right now, but that I've also read, right? And I'm also like I went to Sunday school. Like I'm well versed in religions, and again, I'm an astrotheosophist, and someone that does break down the luminaries in multiple different videos. And so it's not like I'm not versed in the Bible, right? So when he's lying and saying that Jesus was a fruitarianism, I'm like, that is so ridiculous and reaching, and so I have to speak out on that, because he's telling me I'm wrong and that his conscience is clear. I don't know why you'd have a bad conscience for being a fruitarianism or pushing it. So like that was a weird comment, like saying like my conscience is clear of what? Like I'm not accusing you of being a criminal here, buddy, but I'm saying this fruitarian push, you're lying about it. And I get it's because you are a vegan or a fruitarian, whatever, and your idols like Santos Bonacci are as well. But I've also called him out on that as well. He's also a very feminine man, right? In his features and his mannerisms, and so are you, Old World Florida. And no offense in this, but if you're gonna like call me a liar or say that I'm wrong of things that I'm not wrong in, right? And Dr. Longo, like you're not a real doctor, I'm assuming, or at least not in physiology or anything like that. And I have advanced certifications. Like I have multiple degrees, but I have advanced certifications in like even like physique coaching to the advanced level, like anatomy, understanding it, like the hormone levels and all that stuff as well, and supplementation with hormones and responses in men versus women, and then with the coaching, personal trainer qualified. Again, that's like insignificant, but again, I'm just you do learn about anatomy obviously in these courses as well, and nutrition. I'm certified fitness nutrition. I'm certified sports nutrition. I've been a coach for thousands of people. All right. And a platoon commander, company commander that has put together plans for people like for health and stuff like that. And I can tell you, I've never promoted primarily just like a vegan friggin' diet, because again, this is not healthy. Right. And in multiple different societies throughout the world, we have India and China, and I'm not trying to be offensive at all. There have been periods of time where these locations, men and women, have been bigger. They've been stronger. They've been more advanced, more evolved, but that's also applicable in a lot of other countries. But right now you will see the average height, all right, like Philippine areas, like in certain areas, you'll see that the where there's more veganism pushed, right, that they're eating more plant-based diets. This is a fact. You can look at it yourself, right? And so even just that alone, like I'm explaining to him, you know what I mean? This is not reality of like anyways, I'll get into that point, but these are smaller men and women. All right, but it's because of that diet, right? And so like the countries where there's more animal fats and byproducts being consumed, like in like the northern regions, and I'll get to that as well. The men and the women, but especially the men, the average height is significantly higher than in Asia, right? So like even with like Norway and Sweden and Denmark, like all of the like these areas, right, that are common, and where a lot of Vikings they come from as well, and Greenland and even Canada, like our average height. Well, it's getting shorter, by the way. Actually, even in the last decade, you'll notice that the average height of men and women have declined for various reasons, immigration as well. But from countries, again, where people were eating more plant-based diet, there's more chronic illnesses. There's more, there fertility issues, depressions, lower testosterone, significantly lower testosterone in these societies, and smaller penises. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm not making this up. Like, these are not, these are facts. All right. Okay. So you're not saying facts, and I'll get to the Bible and the references where the people in this allegorical book, that's a beautiful book, right? It's based on truth, but it's not fact, right? And it's allegorical, right? So even the representation of Jesus is not even friggin' true. So like, Jesus was a fruitarian. I can make up a fucking name of someone too and be like, that person was a fucking meat eater. You know what I mean? Like, but I have no proof because the person didn't exist. I made that person up, if that makes any sense. But anyway, I'm gonna say this on the record because he's probably going to friggin' delete it at some point, because this is what a lot of these guys do. When I share like rebuttals for what they say, they delete the comment. And so before like he deletes my comment, I said that you are misrepresenting the Bible by claiming that Jesus or anyone was a fruitarian. The Bible also mentioned animals and insects that are acceptable to eat too. I'll show you in Bible verses from just from Gematria, even like from the King James Version alone. The Bible also mentioned animals and insects that are acceptable to eat too. Vegans are unhealthy. The populations that are vegan are shorter, have smaller. This is what I told him. So I just basically said the same thing to you. And I said that men have lived a life of convenience over the past few decades here, which is absolutely true. Okay, so far removed from like sacrifice and death and that aspect of life, like the dark side of life, so far removed of it. About privilege, that's the privilege they're talking about. These social justice warriors and these egotistical fucking people that are very smart in so many other things, which again, like, that's what frustrates me in the truther community, is that they're shutting down actual other truthers just because it's so obviously that they're wrong in certain things, and you know what I mean, and it destroys their narrative. And so like of one aspect of it. But anyway, but by removing yourself from that responsibility or whatever you want to call it, you're not helping anything, right? You're not respecting the cycles of life, like of nature, of humanity, all right, and of any species, okay? And you're causing more problems with the world as well, right? So the vegan diets, okay, but there's gonna be more population, because also in areas where there's veganism or easier life in general, this is where populations also multiply, right? And it gets smaller as well, because because the nutritional value and the content of the micronutrients, it's just not there, right? And so we may become like more populated in Canada, but we'll become more and also shorter life expectancy as well. Okay, all of that stuff that comes along with this stuff. Again, you got so many examples throughout the world, even just now, current day, that just again shows you like how just freaking ridiculous this is. But anyway, I'll just keep on going. I just get so frustrated because I want to be involved in these discussions, but like I'm getting shut out, and these people fucking know me. They're responding to my shit. They can invite me on, but instead they're like, nope. Cool. You're being a hypocrite, though. You see that, right? You're being just like everyone else that you try to fucking call out in all of your videos. Okay? And again, this is like, I don't care. Anyway, men have lived a life of convenience over the past few decades and have traded in hunting, fishing, and raising families for porn and video games. We need protein to have bigger, stronger men who can defend us against other men from other nations who are not buying into the vegan psyops. The chewing also builds stronger jaw lines, okay? The mastication, whatever you want to call that, okay? Like the big features that like a lot of these big, strong friggin' guys have in other areas, right? That's from chewing meat also, right? Not these little friggin', that vegans have. Anyway. And I get they're talking about like, oh, we don't want to kill an animal because, you know what I mean? Because like it's a life. I totally agree with that. But I'll say that vegans, all right, and people that are eating from grocery store, like, areas, right, buying their meat from that, you're the worst at how you treat animals. You're the friggin' worst, not the farmers, not the people that are living like more of a life of a subsistence, whatever you want to call it, right, where they have a few animals and like a little garden on a couple of acres or whatever. Okay, these people respect their animals, and I know that because I come from that lifestyle as well, right? And my sister, even now, she has like a small little like garden thing that she has for her family, raising chickens and horses and stuff like that, living a moderate lifestyle and treating her animals with respect and dignity, and they live long lives, right? She's not killing them at 3 weeks, pushing them with steroids and chemicals and antibiotics and friggin' all that other stuff to make them grow you know, like significantly bigger than they used to be. And even with trees, we're not even allowing them to grow like they used to, or even the rings used to be smaller. Okay. And it was harder for this wood to be like, to be damaged or broken, you know what I mean? Or, you know, like molded, whatever. These issues we're seeing now as well. Like, they're like we need to fucking calm it down a little bit with things here and see the repercussions, right? Of this virtue signaling. All it signals to me is that you're just a weak beta male that would, like, if we were in the middle of winter, we would starve, right? Because like, and that was my other point, but I'll get to that. But so I also said the chewing, oh yeah, anyway. Jesus, Mithras, Dionysus, Horus, Krishna, and countless other mythological figures also are representations of the sun, right? So even with Jesus Christ, I mean, to me, that's like non-applicable because these are representations of the sun and its ecliptical path above us within the firmament, right? And now he's going to think about Eos, Homerus, Venus, Lucifer, and Dawn. Aphrodite are all representations of Venus, for example. So I'm just giving even more because they keep on also saying that Lucifer is Satan. And again, I keep on saying that that is incorrect. Lucifer is Venus, and Venus is a feminine moon, you know, energy, and it has phases and stuff like that. And so, like, not like Satan at all, who I also said was just a mythical figure representing Saturn, the luminary Saturn, right? And then and I've said this before, but like, you know, he's half goat, half human, and red in color, and, you know, with flames, you know what I mean, all around. Like, this is all like tied to the connection with the zodiac sign as well as the chakras and the musical tones and all that other freaking stuff as well, and the elements, which is lead, by the way, for Saturn as well. It's correlated with red and lead, and Aquarius and Capricorn. So Capricorn has the goat that represents it in certain zodiac, in tropical astrology, for example. And then for Aquarius, it's a water bearer, even though it's an air sign, human, right? So like, that's where you get the half goat, half human, or Satan as well. And then why it's cold and it's more death is because Capricorn and Aquarius, like, this is the winter months. So for Canada, especially like North America, it's like when you have the shortest amount of day, longest amount of night, and nothing grows, right? And so, like, if you believe in God and the Bible, you also know that the story was that 6 days the world was created, like Earth was created and stuff like that. On the seventh day he rested, right? And so, and so these luminaries also, like, so it's like, these are like divine clocks, right? But like, there's certain luminaries that also like show us seasons. Okay, so and even the signs and the seasons, God talked about that, and it was good, right? And so so even winter, for example, is what I'm saying. It's always been here. So people that are saying that climate change this, and like we used to have a time when like there was like never any snow, that's not true at all either, because there's even accounts from archives of travelers, explorers that also talked about this white powder and stuff like that was cold and unpleasant to a lot of people are describing as well, and in lands that were void of life, right? And so like there's always been accounts of snow in areas as well. And it just makes sense because of the fucking sun and where it is, you know, the location on this flat plane of inertia that's being projected via hyperboloids and toroidal fields. And these fields are also enclosing this contained environment, which is why gas is raised and stuff like that. But I don't even know I'm going on all these tangents, but yeah, my other reply was, it's about ego. And I'm gonna get upset about that because it just frustrates me. Like, because even saying that what was it too? That the moon is at the bottom of the friggin' like the sun is at the top and the moon is at the bottom of this chart. He's trying to correct me, like, oh yeah, your board is correct, because again I give him the foot of the board, and but the moon is in the wrong place. So again, doesn't understand the board at all, and the impossibility of that, and the connection with Cancer and the moon and the element silver and the color indigo, and the association with Moon Day and the third eye, the sixth chakra, you know, and Cancer being just like Leo, like two of the only signs out of the zodiac, the remaining 10, the only ones that rule over an individual luminary, being the sun and the moon, right? And so one having phases, one not, one being masculine, one being feminine, and so like, what are you talking? Like, I just get frustrated. It is what it is. But so, and he was like, Adam and Eve are fruitarian. Okay, again, making shit up. Like, Adam and Eve are also allegorical figures. You cannot make false claims without looking at the seasons and climates of the world. In Canada and many other areas in North America where we don't live in Florida, there are no fruits that grow in the winter. and we cannot plant our own life in snow-covered soil, right? We can't grow friggin' pumpkins or fucking cucumbers or potatoes, like none of that shit. Like if you look outside right now, like I'm cut, like there's like several feet of snow in my backyard, right? You know, there's seasons for fruit. There's seasons to grow and harvest, right? Like not everyone lives in Florida, you know what I mean? Where we could like sit on our asses, you know what I mean? Do nothing all friggin' day. And you know what I mean? Cause like things are like, come on. That's what I mean. Like the entitlement and such a micro understanding of reality. But anyway, God or the creator made this cosmos and all the seasons at the same time. So you cannot say snow and winter is newer. The very fact that we have accounts of ancient advanced civilizations in colder areas proves you wrong too, right? We have advanced civilizations that are buried in friggin' so much snow, like feet of ice. And even prove it in Antarctica, where there was even a tree that they dug through that was like 300 feet in length. Again, this is all facts. This is not make believe. And again, it's not to slam anyone. It's just like, why am I getting excluded from the club that I should be very much active in? Like, I don't know. And it's because I'm the friggin', I don't know, like I'm the only one that's like, I guess maybe logically making these points, you know, about like the protein requirements and stuff like that. And then even with fruitarianism, like what if you're eating fruit that are not organic or vegetables that are not organic, that are from like that are GMO, that are being filled with Monsanto chemicals and Roundup and stuff like that, then you know, like the heavy metals, then you're not eating healthy at all. All right. And you're talking about Charlie Smith, Watson, he might have been like, his real name was Watson. So like, anyways, he was like one of the oldest living people in Florida that actually called out the moon landings. It was like, we ain't going there, which is a true story. But his only account, you know, in current history is of like a guy from Florida that claimed he ate only oranges in his entire life, which could be true. Who knows? But again, like one account of one guy, and then claiming that everyone in the friggin' world, like oranges don't grow in Canada organically, you know, in this cycle of life, just so you know, just to be clear, right? All these friggin' tangents I could go on, but I just wanted to clarify that. And then I'll just like give an example. I was just like looking at like, oh yeah, I almost forgot. Why am I yelling? No, wrong one. Because there's Hebrew gematria, and there's like so many different types of gematria if you were looking at what I was sharing. But there we go. So I was just looking at like different versions. So all I did was put in search meat, right? And you can go back like to the start, like how many actually I'll just do it again. I'll just do search for meat. And there's over 50 plus versions, or sorry, 50 plus results for meat found. I'll go through them. Yes. So every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is fruit of a tree yielding seed to you shall be for meat. And there's also other points of meat as well. So like people try to do these like red herrings, and they're like, oh, it says here that's fruit's meat, and that's it. No, that's not what they're also called. That's not just meat. Okay, it's things that you eat, and I'll get into it further, because again, we got to be like more thorough than people that are just taking like one passage and misrepresenting it, and then not talking about the countless other passages too that also mention like insects and animals that also can be consumed, that are considered to be okay. And anyway, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. Just eat everything. So, and I will say, I'm actually going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to share like another passage, because it's very clear about cannibalism in the Bible, in my opinion. And I think that's where people get things mixed up. So like I just did like a quick search. What is meat according to the Bible? Again, you have to look way more into this and look at root words and where the words derive from, and what was the original language that was used in, and how was it used in that language. And every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb shall have. I've given you all things, but flesh within the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. So, but flesh with the life thereof, So thereof, like as in like us, which is the blood thereof, like our blood, our flesh, shall ye not eat. So I just wanted to share more of that, and that's why there's people that are talking about like this cannibalism and human harvesting and organ harvesting and abortion clinics and stuff like that, and connection to possibly like taking these fetuses and also using it in where people can consume it whether they know it or not, right? And if you look at even aspartame is human and E. coli feces, and I share that countless times. Like no one is hiding that. No one is hiding it, and still no one cares. And that's what's making people sick too. Like if you drink a lot of aspartame, like you're literally going to be chronically ill because like you're eating waste products from beings that are not eating very healthy food, you know? Yeah, and make me savory meat such as I love and bring it to me. So are there any fruits that are savory? Bring me venison and make me savory meat that I may eat and bless thee before the Lord before my death. So I'm pretty sure that venison is not an apple. Okay. It's an animal. Go now to the flock and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth. And he went and fetched and brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And even the story of Cain and Abel, with Cain being the gardener and Abel being the one that was the hunter, giving his best meat. There's a reason behind that story as well. Yeah, so venison again. So and even for brain function and stuff like that too, like protein, you know, and again, everything in moderation, and don't make animals suffer for you, and don't overconsume. So there are so many different people in the world that are morbidly obese, and it's one thing if it's because of like processed foods and stuff like that that are not killing animals, but it's another thing if it's killing animals, and plant-based foods as well, by the way. There are animal byproducts in them, whether they let you know that or not. There are. And chickens and eggs are healthier for people than, yeah. Again, it's all depending on the pre-existing conditions that people have as well, and susceptibility to various different foods based on tolerances, like birds as well. Yeah, talking about lamb and all this stuff. And during the winter months when there are not, when animals migrate, like in from the colder climates, right? Like birds migrate. Like I'm not sure if people are aware of that anymore because everyone's too busy learning about critical race theory and friggin' like that men can be fucking pregnant and that there's 8,000 pronouns. Like that seems to be like literally everything that's being taught in school right now. Oh my God. And not actual real fucking information. But birds, very like varieties of birds and insects, like butterflies and stuff like that as well. They migrate to warmer areas when the seasons change and it gets too intolerably cold, where they wouldn't be able to survive because of the lack of resources or food and things like that. And that's if they have the ability to do so, right? Some animals also hibernate, and they store food for the winter in like caves or within trees or wherever, burrows and within snow, like almost like an igloo areas or whatever. And so even hunting, right? It's much more difficult in the winter for Canadians and other people, and especially because of the cold as well, right? We're also impacted by cold. And so that's also a factor, and you can't be out for extended periods of time unless you're like properly adequately prepared. And I'm someone that's also done advanced winter warfare training, a lot of winter training in the infantry, obviously. So, more experiences being exposed to colder environments than most people in the world. And then again with the seasons as well, like winter, like there's long winters in or periods where we are not able to grow food in the soil within Canada, and so there's also limited resources. So you have to end up also storing food, canning food, preserving food in cellars and stuff like that as well, and within cans, and over the winter, right, for survival. And then with meat that was killed during the warmer months, that was frozen and quartered and stuff like that, right, for the winter months, and because it's harder times. Not everyone is privileged enough to have been born and raised in Florida. You know what I mean? It's not gonna have anything to do with privilege. I'm just saying, like, this is just an example of ignorance. You know what I mean? Because of lack of experience and exposure. And anyway, and throw an ego. Yeah, so if he was this kid, like, so if these people are this committed to fruitarianism and veganism, which again, like, it's like I can't even reiterate even more that this is like a psyops. What makes these people better than the people that were pushing COVID shots, knowing that there was possibly harm and death being incurred, right? Everyone's saying like that these therapeutics saved like millions of people, like several million people, but there's also reports out now that are official that there's approximately 17 million people that died because of the vaccine, right? So like triple the amount of people that died from the vaccine to save people allegedly from the therapeutic, but that the vaccine also, by the way, spread in at least 4.6% of the people that reported these viruses. So you not only did it not prevent you from getting it, it also gave you the chance of contracting COVID through the inoculation. And I've shared the reports, the virus coming right from Pfizer, right? So like not even the other companies like Novavax and Sinovac and Moderna and AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson being the only one that had the partial variant and wasn't mRNA driven. Anyway, but it's just so freaking frustrating. And then even with Dan Bongino, like he gets a lot of things right, and everyone's like, oh, he was Secret Service, like hero and all that stuff. And I'm not taking that against him either, taking that away from him either. But I've also done executive protection for our prime minister, the current one, and the head of the Toronto Raptors, and I've done it for the heads of the Bank of Canada, people that go to Davos. I've done it for you count, and also training these courses, right? And a lot more experience in that. Again, that was a small part of like what I've done. That's a small part of what I've done, like such a small part. And actually below my pay grade, in my humble opinion, right now in life, by virtue of my life experiences that most people don't have. And so this is what I mean. He was pushing the therapeutic as well and stuff like that, and just was like all about Trump. Had him on a show, didn't ask him any fucking hardball questions, just like Anomaly was saying yesterday or today. And I really like his friggin' work, man. See, Anomaly would be let me think about this. Would be my first choice for a podcast, because I'm thinking Eddie Bravo would be really friggin' good too. But Anomaly is really good with like he's really articulate, and he's really, I don't know, like I think that it would be like, I think both conversations would be interesting, because again, I'm not just going to push the same stuff that they're sharing, but like we've oftentimes come to the same results, and you know what I mean. Even though we're looking at things from a different life perspective and experience perspective, and we're looking at our different research, and we come from different countries, it's just strange that we're still coming to the same general conclusions and stuff like that with what we're with our thought processes, and it seems to be like but I don't know, that other people are still getting more advertised. Like the real truthers, like there's not even a lot of those. Like Tucker Carlson, by the way, he did a post about coming to Canada to save Canada the last 24 hours, I guess. Again, I'm a little bit out of the loop, because like I've been back and forth from Ontario to Quebec, because I have a loved one in the hospital, and it's you just want to make sure that things are okay. But anyways, that just means that I was like, I've been missing a lot of like content, my work and stuff like that, trying to keep up to date on it. But like he's saying that he's like I guess they're coming to save Canada. I don't know what that means. Who knows? But he also shares a lot of good content. Also a little wrong about January 6th, because I do believe that Ashley Babbitt is possibly still alive and was a crisis actor. And I'm not just saying that, I share literal proof and facts, or compelling evidence to look through, at least, to investigate on my Rumble account, Don189. And January 6th is even in the title. It's even in the title of the video, and I believe that I say Ashley Babbitt's still alive ? And so, yeah, and I've talked about it for years. But yeah, those are the big things right now. Like, I just want to make sure I don't miss anything with meat and sacrifice and stuff like that. Oh yes, like the more you're like removed from like hard things, right? Like life is fucking hard, and like the more, like the easier you want to make it, you know what I mean, for yourself. All right, you're not helping your community or advanced or future generations at all. Like, you're not helping yourself, you're not helping anyone within the community in the present or the future, is what I want to say. And when you're making it where the responsibility goes on other people, everyone's gonna keep doing that. It's like the shopping cart analogy, right? Like when you see someone like not to put their shopping cart away, then you're more apt to, I mean, humans, I always put the shopping cart away, but like, just because I know this analogy, right? But like people see that and then they follow suit, right? They're like, oh, they didn't have to do it. They're not getting in trouble for it. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to put the effort of putting it away. And then the whole friggin' shopping like area, like the parking area, is a friggin' mess, right? It's because of lazy people that see other people doing lazy things and they don't want to put the effort in either, right? And it's so like, this is what I like, even with the example that I've talked about with classrooms, where the teacher was going to do the average. Or was going to average things out, right? So you had people that would study for weeks or days, however long they had to study for their exams, get 100%, and then you had people that didn't do any work at all, or barely did any friggin' work. Maybe studied for a few hours, thought that was enough. You know what I mean? Like a couple of nights, like that's it. Yeah, that's enough, even though you don't know half the material. Yeah, that's good enough. Or like, again, like not at all. And so like when you get the test results back and the people that studied their fucking asses off, right? That are hard chargers, that are people that want to do better in life, and are people that like put the effort in, okay? Like they got screwed over and lives possibly ruined in that class, you know what I mean? Because like they're now like they should have had 100%, and now their averages overall for the remaining friggin' courses is obviously going to be dropped because their average is now, let's say, 75%. Okay, and so like they're pissed off because like no, I'm not gonna like friggin' carry the whole fucking class, work my ass off, you know what I mean, for weeks at a time to study, if like dipshit's gonna do absolutely nothing except like stroke his whatever, you know, play video games and watch prawn, you know, and I meant to say porn, about prawn and OnlyFans, right? Like then no, you're not, you're no. More people need to be doing physical jobs as well, like these desk jobs that all these men want to like get as well. Like no offense, like you're not helping either. And women that are not trying to stay home to like raise a family, like, you know what I mean, when you have kids, you know what I mean, like that's also like not helping at all. So I don't just mention men, but weak men create weak societies, right? And so that when you're relying on other people, right? Like there's farmers now, I think the average age is like they're in their 50s now. I don't know any 30-year-olds or 20-year-olds that are farmers. And when I was growing up, like that was common, right? Like even me as a teenager, I was doing farm stuff, right? But like now it seems like it's just so far removed because of convenience and people getting, anyway, incentivized to stay home and do nothing. And also because of not being able to afford it, because of people that are in city centers and freaking like the committees and stuff like that, or these international like woke people, okay, they're ruining our lives. And these people that are, by the way, the heads of these diversity, equity, you know, inclusion friggin' things and critical race theory, like everyone's so intimidated by them. If you actually knew who these friggin' clowns were, you'd be annoyed and infuriated. These are the Dylan Mulvaney's of the world that are creating these policies and pushing all this fucking stuff on us and increasing our taxes and making life unmanageable and unbearable for people that are middle class or above, people that actually work their asses off, okay, every day. You know, and people are calling these people privileged, which is beyond I can't with this anymore. I just like, it's so frustrating that people look at people that wake up at 4 a.m. They work out for 2 hours a freaking day, then they go to work and they go home, like all of this shit, and they're hating on them despite the fact that they laid on their ass all day. That's in that same 24-hour period, or did nothing productive, you know, or further made their health decline. And then they're hating on the person that actually put the effort in, and then blaming privilege. No, I'm sorry to say, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of lazy, overly medicated children nowadays that need to step it up a little bit, and they need their parents to push them to step it up a little bit and do be there for the community more, right? Like we were supposed to raise children to be able-bodied people, and you know, if they could be, obviously, you know, there's people that are born with deformities. I'm excluding that, or people that get wounded being of service. I have countless friends that I talk to on a regular basis that are even double, triple amputees, you know, and they still go to the fucking gym and work out. The friggin' body parts they still friggin' have are more jacked than yours. Like, no excuses for the people, like the people that are able-bodied and just refusing to put effort in any aspect of their life. I'm just fucking done with like everyone, like, and now everyone's a victim. And it's literally, we need to filter our friggin' water. I'm getting a call and family emergencies and stuff like that, so you just always want to be available. So I will call back, and but I won't just end it so abruptly. But anyways, this, like, I'm not judging anyone at all that is following a certain diet or lifestyle. I'm not, unless you're directly impacting myself and those that I love, if that makes any sense. It's more like a libertarian views on things. And when people are pushing misleading, you know, information and products, like misinformation and stuff like that, it's just I don't know, like further friggin' diluting the friggin' pool and stuff like that. It is what it is. If you want to be like strictly carnivore, whatever. But like, don't lie and be like Jesus Christ was a carnivore. You know what I mean? And like everyone's supposed to be carnivore and make all these fucking stories that, you know, you do you, and absolutely talk about the health benefits for you, because there are unique situations where people do thrive more with like specific diets because of various different reasons, right? There are people that are not able to properly digest certain fruits and vegetables because of the chemicals and toxins and stuff like that that are within them, right? It makes them have hives, more or immune issues or allergies, whatever you want to call it. And they're just not able to tolerate it, right? And so like this causes IBS and it causes your stomach to churn and stuff like that. And again, this is not good all around, right? And so this is where the option of like eating in moderation and trying to consume as little as possible and eat more organic, homegrown or local foods, and then understand and appreciate the sacrifice that's made for you to be able to consume protein when you do, and understand like that as well as a part of life, and you can't just hide from it. Like even just like with warriors and stuff like that as well. Like I've done things part of the infantry that like I wish I didn't have to do, but there are things, you know what I mean, that even though like it's still, you know, like profoundly upsets me as a human being, you know what I mean? Like it's just like you do what's necessary or what you think is necessary for the survival and protection of people that are not able to, the more vulnerable within societies and stuff like that, to be the protector, if that makes any sense. And that's why like a lot of warriors, like again, these are not people that are insane psychopaths. Like I would argue that they, like the most of them are in cabinet right now in Canada, but these are people that like understand the realities of the world. They're more conservative or traditional people in nature, coming from more the rural areas. And by the way, another reason why you need a certain percentage of rural areas within any friggin' country for so many different reasons, but also for those reasons, and they put their life on the line to be there for people within their communities, for their country and stuff like that. So that patriotism, like people are slamming that, and like I find it so disgusting and appalling, because it's because of brave men and a very small percentage of women like myself, but like, you know, especially in previous times where like, you know, they were saying no women were allowed, but there were absolutely women on the front lines because they were medics as well, and nurses, and directly involved even with like the cooking and the cleaning and all that other stuff as well, and the like the clothes making. But anyway, less on the front lines in those days, but that has kept us free and protected. And there's so many different species in the world, right, where they have those the alphas within the species that protects the pride, or that protects the pack, the school, you know, the warnings, the alert, like these are necessary within society, right? And just because you're not willing or able to do what's possibly necessary, the worst thing that people could, you know, like the thing that people don't want to do, but unless you're willing to do that to people that are actually predators and people that are actually trying to kill you or yours or take over, you know what I mean, and cause mass suffering and stuff like that, unless you have people that are willing to do that, then like you're the societies that have always collapsed and been taken over countless times throughout history as well, right? There's so many different civilizations that have been taken over and stuff like that so easily, and it's for various different reasons. But then there's also been times where places have been defended, and people that tried to come in and rape and pillage and stuff, like whatever you want to call it, or colonize, or repopulate, or re-inhabit, or occupy, they were pushed back. They were pushed away. So yeah, and to be, again, like a big strong warrior type, like you're not eating oranges every day. I can tell you that, unless like that's all that's available and it's for survival, and that's, again, but not optimal for diet, right? Like these are during like times of duress. Yeah. But anyway, so I will leave it at that, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.